Welcome, friends, to Utah Stories Top 5. So, I announced a few weeks ago that we were doubling down on truth. And what I meant by that is it seems like we live in a world today where you have the facts on the right side of the political spectrum, you have the facts on the left side of the political spectrum, and it's really hard to figure out what the truth is today. And so we go through all the top headlines. We try to examine what is going on that you're kind of not hearing about that's affecting the quality of life in Utah. And we found a couple of stories related to migrants crossing the border illegally, coming in. There was a gang of migrants crossing specifically to come in and raid people at Walmart's, elderly people, and victimize them, take their belongings. It's a true story verified by KUTV News. They aren't colored people, so it's not racist. It's just a fact. But we got all these scathing comments about it, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess you can't report on immigrants who are coming in basically committing crimes. I don't know what it is, but offended some people online. It's like a small handful of people, but that's not going to stop us from telling the truth, because we're out to get to the bottom of facts. And we think that the quality of life in Utah is important. So that's what we're doing here. And so on today's program, we're examining a whole different topic. The topic is, will AI completely transform your life and take your job? I think it's a really important question. I've been looking at AI. I'm looking at AI stocks that are going through the roof. There's a stock called NVIDIA, a company called NVIDIA, that I followed for years because I was a computer graphic designer before I did this. I took on journalism, and that stock is just completely blown up, and I'm wondering what's caused it. And it turns out there's all these AI startup companies that are creating these giant server farms so that AI can be harnessed and take more and more jobs. So, or just replace people, basically. So what's your future going to look like? We're going to dive into that. And we're also going to go through our other top 5 headlines of today. Thank you for joining me. Utah Stories is the sponsor of Utah Stories Top 5, Utah Stories Magazine. We can deliver this right to your door for $3 a month, and you can support our local journalism, where we really do try to find the truth without political bias. Like, obviously, everybody has political bias. Nobody sees the world without bias. My bias is I was raised staunch conservative, then I became a Democrat, sort of. I basically wanted to work for the working class people of the Utah. I wanted to present a voice for those people 18 years ago when we launched Utah Stories. So I would be a Democrat for sure if it was like 30 years ago, but I think that the left has gone way far left, and I don't support that movement to being too far left where you just support everything big government. But we try to remain neutral, we try to remain independent and non-politically biased, and we try to arrive at the truth. That's our goal, and you support that goal by subscribing to our magazine or go out and subscribe to our free digital newsletter. Okay, let's dive into our first headline and story. Did Evermore Park shut down? This was a big topic on Salt Lake City's Reddit forum today. Evermore Park, if you don't know about it, it's this medieval theme park where you buy tickets to get in, and then there's all these actors dressed like medieval actors, and it's really, I've heard, an interesting, fun experience. I really wanted to go there and check it out myself. We've written about them. There's just all these people who like to dress up in Utah. Like, if you've been to our Comic-Con before, it's called FanX, people just come out in droves dressed up as their favorite medieval character or comic book character, superhero. And it's just sad to see that it might actually be closed. We tried calling them. There's nothing on the calendar for buying any tickets to any events in the upcoming months. So just a little bit of background on Evermore Park. It was created by Ken Brettschinder, the founder of DigiCert. According to Brettschinder, the idea for Evermore partially arose from his tradition of elaborately decorating his home in Linden, Utah. And the park had a soft opening in 2018. It went through several lawsuits from contractors who weren't paid. It's gone through ups and downs. The park offers archery, axe throwing, themed train experience, Vanderkeeps, which is a themed building attached to the park. It was formerly a restaurant. It's been repurposed for an events venue. And it's become a cursed world of lore, is the haunted attraction during Halloween time. Then in the wintertime, it has a winter experience inspired by the works of Charles Dickens. It was entangled in legal proceedings when it tried to sue Taylor Swift for her song called Evermore, alleging trademark infringement, and songs by Taylor Swift that it claimed that were used without proper licensing. Anyhow, Evermore, let's hope it comes back, because I think it's just like a cool Utah thing, of something that could only probably exist in Utah, because we have some weird people who really like to dress up like medieval characters, and let's hope it survives. Okay, our next headline, shotgun carrying Brighton resident who went viral on YouTube. He's now getting sued. So this is a story from the Salt Lake Tribune. The rifle brandishing Brighton man charged with assaulting and threatening a snowboarder who had knowingly trespassed on his property initially told police officers he wasn't involved in that incident, according to police reports. He also denied being part of a similar interaction with a skier. It was all caught on camera, so he can't really deny it. But later, according to the reports, he asked officers if he could detain future interlopers. And on Thursday, Keith Robert Stebbings was charged in 3rd District Court with a 3rd-degree assault and threatening, for threatening the snowboarder. The assault charge is a felony, while threatening is a Class B misdemeanor. We'll see if those charges stick. All right, the Utah Snowpack, after all the snow we've gotten in the past week, is looking really good. The Wasatch Front received a ton of new snow in the past week, so the Division of Natural Resources interactive map now shows we are 120% to 150% of normal in most places. So you can check out the blue dots on the map, I believe, and you can see flooding, I don't believe, is still very likely. It would just we'd have to get a blast of snow, of sunshine, in order for flooding to be a problem. So that's not likely going to be an issue, except I saw around the Escalante drainage area where they've received 200% of normal. Okay, next headline. Not everyone is happy about the big subsidies going to build a Major League Baseball park. In a text message obtained by the Salt Lake Tribune through a records request, they found that members of the Salt Lake City Council staffers had fears over the swing of HB 562, a state-backed proposal to build a big league stadium north of North Temple on Redwood Road, warning it would ultimately harm the west side and steer money from city coffers that would otherwise be used to bring additional services to the area. In the revealing exchanges, the strike had a distinctly different tone of the diplomatic one projected in a joint statement released by the council, Mayor Mendenhall, and lawmakers, which peeled back the curtain on the bill, which creates a fair park land authority and commits hundreds of millions of public tax dollars to the stadium construction. While we are excited about the possibility of bringing Major League Baseball to Salt Lake City, a Mendenhall spokesman said, this bill creates immediate concerns about the apparent diversion of tax revenue and land use away from city services regardless. That whole area is a victim of gentrification in a major way. The west side was supposed to be affordable housing. That was supposed to be the whole vision of it. Like, let's have people be able to afford houses and apartments. The west side was offering that. And now it's going to be this really cool area, power district, but it's all glitzy and it's full of like high-end, looks like luxury apartments. And how is that going to help the average Salt Lake City resident? We've asked that question on this program a few times. We've asked the question, why are we subsidizing billionaires instead of subsidizing people, working class people who need housing desperately to be cheaper? And, it's like Utah small independent businesses can't find enough people who can come and work because it's so expensive to live in Utah. A report just came out today saying Utah's property values in the last 10 years have gone up 5th highest in the country. So we now have some of the least affordable property in the entire country. That shouldn't be the case. We should be working toward making housing more affordable. And I think Ryan Smith and the Miller family can build their stadiums on their own. I don't think they need taxpayer dollars for that. All right. So let's get into our adventure of the day. Moab Easter Jeep Safari is happening this weekend. It's a huge event. If you've never gone down to Moab during Jeep Safari, it is crazy. It is like every Jeep in the United States looks like they have come to Moab. They're all over Moab. They're rock crawling. There's all these these really cool events. It's a circus, so I would check it out one time. And if you like that, that's great. I'm not a guy who likes giant crowds and circuses, but the Easter Jeep Safari consists of trail rides, mostly day-long trips, departing from Moab, Utah throughout the 9-day-long event. The official event is hosted by the Red Rock Four-Wheelers Incorporated, one of the local four-wheel drive clubs of Moab. Participants provide their own four-wheel drive vehicle, take care of their own food, non-alcoholic beverages for the trip, bring plenty of water, include sun protection, layered clothing in case of changing weather circumstances are always a possibility in southeastern Utah. Go check it out at discovermoab.com. Okay, our question of the day: will AI or robots take your job? I spent a couple hours researching this because it is nuts what AI is capable of doing. I just am blown away by the computer graphic imagery you can now get from AI. You can basically just say anything you want it to produce, and it just spits out a beautiful image of whatever it is you want. I used to be a graphic artist, a 3D designer, computer graphic designer, and it was like I'd spend sometimes a week making one image or one animation. Now these programs can just do it in a matter of minutes, and it's crazy. So it's like that my old job would now probably be outdated. So what other jobs are going to be gone? So I looked at it. Of course, data entry. AI systems can be trained to extract and input data from various sources, such as documents or databases. Customer service. AI-powered chatbots or virtual assistants can handle simple customer queries and complaints, freeing up human customer service staff to focus on more complex issues. Telemarketing, bookkeeping, compensation and benefit managers. The study found that automation could eliminate 75 million jobs by 2022 in sectors such as accounting, assembly plants, customer management centers, and postal services. But the report also estimates that this robot revolution will create a net 58 million new jobs over the next 5 years. That actually doesn't make sense to me. It's going to eliminate 75 million, but create 58 million. Who are these 58 million jobs? Like, is it just going to be somebody sitting at a desk say, make this graphic of a dog jumping over a mushroom while eating French fries? Like, I don't get it. How is it going to create jobs? If you know the answer to that, chime in, because it's just like every time we have our question of the day, it always inevitably opens up more questions. And, I don't want to pretend like I have all the answers. So if you happen to know, let us know. One of the interesting things I found in the story, Amazon has developed their own fleet of robots that will eventually replace their entire warehouse fulfillment staff in the next 10 years. Here's a video that shows that. So Amazon basically creates robots that can pick up packages, move packages, label packages, take them around the warehouse. So that will basically eliminate the need for their workers. And what bothers me about that is that Utah subsidized these Amazon fulfillment centers, again, to like the tune of millions of dollars just because they were going to create so many jobs. Now they're going to take all those jobs away. So how was that subsidy worthwhile? I've always been an advocate. Why don't we subsidize mom and pop businesses? Why are we subsidizing Amazon? All right. So with that, thank you for joining me. On our next segment, we're talking to Michael Valentine about Zionism. And we're also talking about what's happening to the former Pantages Utah Theater site, which is now basically empty hole, and the Heinz Corporation is not developing it. That's coming up next. Thanks for watching. I'll look forward to seeing you next time.